Today we're talking about one-step inequalities. So it should be, for the most part, review. So we're going to be solving each inequality and then graphing it on a number line. And I put some information over on the right to figure out how to graph it on the number line. So we're going to solve this like we would a normal equation. So add 4 to both sides to get x is greater than negative 8. The first thing you always want to check, even though I put this last, is make sure that your variable is on the left side of the problem. So this is on the left side, so we're good. And then we want to look at this symbol. If it's less than or equal, or less than or greater than, it's an open circle, so like this. If it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it's going to be closed. So this one will be an open circle. The reason is because x can be anything bigger than negative 8, but it cannot equal negative 8. So putting an open circle says we're not going to include negative 8 in our answer. It's just any numbers going up to negative 8. And then, since we want numbers that are x is greater than negative 8, I want to shade on my number line where the numbers are greater than negative 8. So that's this side. These numbers are bigger than negative 8. So this means any number that's bigger than negative 8 will work for this inequality, which is why we shade. There's a trick to figuring out which way to shade. If you put a line through your symbol, it creates an arrow. The arrow points to the right, so shade to the right. Part B, subtract 3 from both sides to get m is less than negative 1. So we have an open circle on negative 1 since it was just less than. And we want numbers less than negative 1, so I'm going to shade where numbers are less than negative 1. And again, you could put line through this to make an arrow. Arrow points to the left. Okay, part C, add 4 to both sides to get negative 3 is less than or equal to r. Here our problem is that r is not on the correct side, so we're going to switch it. When we switch it, we need to flip our inequality symbol and then negative 3. So the only thing that changes there is your numbers will switch sides and you've changed the inequality symbol. So I have a closed circle at negative 3. I want numbers that are bigger than negative 3, so I'm going to shade it this way. And again, you could have made an arrow pointing to the right to tell you that. Now, we're going to get into multiplying and dividing. When you multiply and divide, this part that I've written down is really important. If you multiply or divide by a negative, your inequality symbol will flip. More specifically, if the number by the variable is negative, flip the sign. So that's only for multiplication and division. Don't do it for addition and subtraction. So for part A, I'm going to divide 8 on both sides to get x is less than or equal to 5. So I'm going to have a closed circle on 5 going to the left. So that one was just normal. Next, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to get h by itself. So we get h is less than 6. I didn't have any negatives, so I don't have to worry about flipping anything. So open circle on 6 going to the left. Now, C, D, and then the bottom two are going to be a little bit different because we have some negatives. So for part C, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. Since I divided by a negative, so since this number was negative, I'm going to flip my inequality symbol. 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1. So that is a closed circle on negative 1 going to the right. Part D, multiply both sides by negative 2. Since we multiplied by a negative, we're going to flip our sign. But then I notice my variable is not on the correct side, so we're going to actually flip it again. So it becomes x is less than negative 2. So we actually ended up with the same inequality symbol we started with. That's okay. We just had to flip it a couple times. So open circle on negative 2 going to the left. Okay, 2 more questions. For part E, oops. Where did it go? Okay. Part E, divide both sides by negative 6. So we get A, we divided by a negative, so flip the sign. Negative 36 divided by negative 6 is a positive 6. My variable is on the correct side, so I can go ahead and graph it. Open circle on 6, going to the left. Last one, part F, I'm multiplying by a positive 2. Since that was a positive 2, we are not flipping the sign. So just because this is a negative, I don't care. I care if this is a negative. So negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. And that's going to be a closed circle on negative 4 going to the right. Okay, so remember, the flipping the sign because of a negative is only for multiplication and division. If you add or subtract a negative, that's okay. We only care about if we multiply or divide by a negative. If you have any questions, please let me know.